Hello! So today we're gonna see how to edit using textures on architectural plans using pattern overlay in Photoshop. So in Photoshop, you first open your CAD file and add it into a white background. So this specific project is a facilitation center for paddy agriculture, and this specific plan is a rooftop plan containing levels of rooftop paddy fields. So each level is dissected as you can see in the CAD plan. So what we need to edit is add all these levels that are in the CAD with separate types of shades of paddy. So rather than just add green to or selected shade onto it like this in a separate layer, we'll label it as PD1 because we'll have separate colors, and then we'll just simply color like that. So rather than doing that and editing it in that way, we can simply use pattern overlay, which is you open your Google and then you simply type a paddy field texture seamless. So since this has a bit of a texture where we could actually see, I'll just save this as an image 1. Sorry. Oh, PD1. Okay. And then after saving it, you open the file in Photoshop as a new file, a separate file. So this, then you can edit this if you want to, change colors or the shade of it or the contrast of it, or you can simply go to edit and then there's define pattern. So I'm just going to keep it as PD1 itself, and it's already inside Photoshop. So we go back to our plan, and here we again go to the CAD layer, select the layers we would need, imagine like further away, something like that, and then go select the paint tool and then choose a color and then right click go to blending options, and here you will have PD1, but here you will also have pattern overlay over here. So here we can go see there's already defined patterns, but this is the pattern we've generated, and you can adjust the scale of it and the opacity of the pattern. So we'll just keep it at a 60. So we can also see the pattern as well as any shade we are going to overlay it with. Select OK and add. So we can go back to it and then edit the scale on the side. As you can see, it's very quick. Rather than adding a color, you're just overlaying a pattern where it gives a bit of a texture to the plan, and we'll repeat that with a different shade, and we'll create a new layer called PD2. We can go to the same layer as well, but I would like to separate it so I can edit it later if I want to, and we can select a different shade of green and then we'll add it, and then go to blending options again, take pattern overlay and you can reduce the opacity and the scale again, just to show how different it would look like with different colors, because in realistically there would be different shades of paddy, I guess. Continue to do this to this entire plan, and I will show you a completed plan where it's all done. When you zoom in, you see different scales and different shades and different opacities, making it a bit realistic but also with the texture. So overall the plan looks better, and it's also very easy to edit. Another example would be how we can use this tool for a section or an elevation again. So this is another project, a housing project, a smaller scaled project. As you can see, this is drafted by hand, not by CAD, so hopefully all these lines are intact. Or I would have to use my polygonal line and then select. So for this specific design, we are using a red perforated metal cladding for these staircase railings. So as you can see, it's all drawn here. So rather than just adding with the rest of the style of this section, I would rather like to add sort of the perforated metal cladding texture. So we'll go to Google, and as you can see, I have few options here. Seamless, you just type red perforated metal seamless. It doesn't even have to be metal because it just has to look perforated. And then either one you can select as long as it's seamless. So here there's a watermark, so select the one you think would be best. We'll just try this out, and then we'll save the image as metal 1, and then we'll open it on Photoshop and see. Okay, and then I would like this to be less of a tone than this, so I'm gonna decrease the perforation after unlocking the background. Maybe a bit more like 50, 60 would do. And after that, again, I'm gonna go and define this pattern. And then let's go back to the section, and after selecting, make a new layer, and then we'll go towards lighter shade of red, and we'll add the color. We can bring it to the top, then our silhouette, then right click, blending options, go to pattern overlay. As you can see, we already have the paddy, and then we can then increase the scale of the perforation and the opacity part by part. So as the staircase goes backwards, so you will have different levels of steel gratings going behind and coming forward. So you have to select the ones that are behind to have a lower opacity. As you can see, there's two different opacities, what's in front and what's behind. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you.